Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wellness Radio. We are Doctors Warren, and we're so excited to be here on this Saturday morning of football.
Yeah, even though football has been going, we all know football is literally starting today because it's the SEC, and that's really what matters. So it's definitely football day. So we'll start off this show by saying hotty toddy. We may, I don't know, but depending on how the first game goes, we may be wanting the season to be over after the first game. I don't know.
Why are you so negative?
I don't know. I'm just nervous.
That just means that I get to make football food, healthified football food, wings and dips, and you asked for pizza, which is not football food.
By the way, we should go over that. We should go over some healthy football menu.
All right,
today.
we'll do some menu. Idea. We'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll have to tell you guys the healthy version of football food, of sports food that we do. I'm telling you, because people come over and they're like, I remember we invited, what was it, the LSU versus when Brad came over. We had a friend come over, and it was just him. And he walked in and he saw all the food, and he was like, are there more people coming? I was like, no, it's just a great excuse for some good old, just like wings and just healthified, what is it, chicken tenders and fried chicken wing. We'll let you guys know all about that.
Wait, you mean you can actually have fun eating healthy? Like, is that what you're saying?
Listen, you've come up with a really banging Chick-fil-A, like mimic recipe for the chicken tenders.
So good.
The only thing we were missing was the pickle juice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Which is easy to add. I just have to add it in for sure. So, super glad you guys are here. Thanks for joining us. If you're not live on Facebook with us, go ahead and jump on, so we will have a lot of fun on here. We always get to go into extra depth in the commercial breaks with topics. They get to ask their personal questions as well, from the standpoint of what do you want to know? What do we, if we're going over a certain subject, is there anything else that you want to know, to what extent? So join us live on Facebook, Doctors Warren, DRSWARREN. And again, ask your questions there. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys are new to our show, this is your first time tuning in, because I know we've actually had a lot of new listeners because we've been getting, messages, meeting people in the office who've never even listened to our show before. Mm-hmm. So we know we have some new listeners. And so just to kind of give you our background of who Dr. Rebecca and I are, we are doctors here located in Chattanooga. So in the Chattanooga area, we work with things like structural correction of the spine and the nervous system as doctors of chiropractic, something that to me, every single year that goes by becomes more and more precious to me, because our foundation is built upon that the body is created to heal itself, that the body is intelligent, that the body's not a broken down machine. And what's incredible about that is I always know it gives me, at least 1 to 2 legs up over your medical doctor every single time, because my foundation is set in stone where it needs to be. And again, once you kind of set that foundation of knowing that the body's intelligent, that it's designed to heal, again, it changes the whole outcome of your health, and the way that we're coaching you, or the way that we're working with you on your health. So, but we are located in the Hamilton Place area. So that's like, for those of you that may be new to Chattanooga, that's over near the mall area. And again, we're located right behind the YMCA, next to the Home Depot. And there, our health center, man, we work with, kids as old as like 1 week old, maybe even less than that, all the way up, to 99, 100 years old. We work with athletes, we work with moms, we work with kids, we work with families, we work with people who are just trying to optimize their health. I had 2 patients come in this week that literally, I loved it. On their paperwork, they had no pain, they had no problems. Everything was just, I want to get well, I want to stay well, I want to prevent. And I'm like, man, that is awesome. You're in the right place. So whether you're in pain or whether you have no problems at all, again, that is what we work with in our office, because we know and we recognize how amazing you have been created, how amazing your body is, and just the healing potential that maybe you don't even know yet, and that we don't even know to the fullest extent, but we do know that you are powerfully and wonderfully made. There's no doubt.
Absolutely. And so this first segment of the show, we want to share with you guys some stories from the office, some different stories that we've experienced in the last week and a half, things that we want to celebrate, things that really frustrated us. So I want to share the first story, okay? I had this young girl, and I'm going to share this story because from the outside, you would look at the situation and you'd be like, well, why is she going to someone that's not helping her get well? A young girl who is having some very big hormone issues, some really bad hormone issues, and the symptoms are showing up like on her face, in her hair, and she just is not feeling, she doesn't feel horrible, but she doesn't feel like herself, and she's tired of dealing with some embarrassing symptoms that are because of testosterone issues, too much testosterone that she was having. And she's dealt with this for 4 years. So she comes into the office, right, with incomplete labs, which happens all the freaking time. Like, how are you going to look at your body and pull labs that don't give you any results, right? So I look at it and I'm like, first of all, your vitamin D is horrible, but there's nothing going on here. And as we go through our health history, I was like, okay, so what have your doctor done? Well, they said they could put me on birth control. What? That has, just so you guys know, that has nothing, like, that's not going to fix anything. Well, I'm like, you've been going to this doctor for 4 years with the same issues. I go, you do real, like, how, why? Like, why would you keep going to this doctor? Well, he's going to, refer me to someone, an endocrinologist. But I had her draw some more labs, and her labs showed some other issues, like adrenal issues. And I was like, why would you go to him? Like, you've been going in. What did she say? Well, it's covered by my insurance. And I'm not, listen, guys, I'm a very expressive person. And at that point, I just looked at her like, are you kidding me? I looked at her, you are literally losing your health more and more each year. You know that you're not getting well. You know you're not getting better. So you choose to stay in an office that all they're telling you is a pill, take a cream, but no, they're not helping you. And the only reason you're going there is because your insurance is covering. Well, let me go ahead and tell you this. She's investing in her health in her office. You got to invest. Our insurance does not cover things when it comes to coaching in our office, but we make it affordable for you to actually get down to the cause of your health issues. But the crazy thing is, how far are you going to go going to see a medical doctor that you think is nice, but is literally killing you because they don't know how to get you well? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. When we first started practicing, I would say, it's all the doctor's fault because they should know better. I think there's different reasons. I've met some doctors here in Chattanooga that have egos. Like, y'all are, I think they should be sued for malpractice, but that's a whole nother thing. But there's some doctors that really want to help you, but they just don't have the ability, the education, the pressure to see more people, right? But how far are you willing to go to keep seeing the same doctor because you think they're nice, but you're not getting well? I believe it's going to be your responsibility. It's going to be, don't listen to this, it's going to be your fault that you are not well because you keep going to the same person expecting them to practice outside of their field, okay? You're going to a doctor who is exceptional at diagnosing diseases, medicating, injecting, prescribing, and cutting, and you're going there looking for answers outside of that.
Yeah.
You're going to go to this doctor and ask him to help you heal your body when number one, healing comes from the inside out, but you're going to them when their expertise is something else. And oh my gosh, the most common statement I get in my office, especially when someone's 60 or above, is I look at their medication list, they're on 5 or 7 different medications, and what do they say? I don't even like taking medication. Then why the heck are you taking all these medications? Why are you taking one medication? Why are you taking 2? And just so you know, taking a blood pressure medication does not make you healthy. You are not healthy if you're taking blood pressure medication, and COVID has taught us that. You are managing a symptom by a medication. You are not healthy if you're having to take a little bit of blood pressure. You're not healthy if you're having to take some statin medication. You are not healthy when you have to do those things.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think that you touched on a really good point. Like, if your goal is to look at, right now, if your goal is to look at how you can, really bring your health to a whole nother level based on lifestyle, then you have to stop going to a system that relies on medication, cutting, things like antibiotics, things like birth control. You have to stop going to a system that relies on that if you're looking for lifestyle to get you well. It doesn't work. It's like you continuously go to maybe to the mall with a broken down car rather than going to the mechanic. It's like they do two completely different things. And so we really want to make sure that you guys first get this mindset that says we are going to take responsibility for our health, and we are going to go after our lifestyle and change our environment, both our external and internal environment. And that's going to be the choice that we make. And then from a medical standpoint, we're going to use them for what they're good at, which is saying, okay, for emergency situations, they're there. Maybe for some more advanced lab work for, whether you need like a CT scan, MRI, those type of things. Like, we're going to use them for the those type of things. But I am not going to rely on them to take care of my health. Actually, one of the things that also drives me nuts is people say, well, maybe I can just get my doctor to run my blood work for me that you want to get done. And I still, because I'm nice, I'm like, okay, well, you can try, but I'm getting to the point where I'm honestly going to start saying no, like, because why would you want to get your C-reactive protein, checked? Inflammatory, that's not a big deal. Oh, why would A1C, why would you want to get that checked? And yet we're looking at this like, guys, you're 15 years behind the research here. And again, you're not going to run C-reactive protein on your patient who's had heart disease in the past. Like, that is what I call, you may think that you're book smart, but you are really about as stupid as it comes, because you're missing out on information that has been out there for years and years and years, and I'm getting absolutely sick and tired of it, to be honest with you. And so that means that's why we do this show, so that we can educate you. Because listen, I can't go up to every doctor here in Chattanooga and around the world and be like, listen, hey, maybe you should read this study. Maybe you should read this study. Maybe you should keep up with those things. Like, maybe I should challenge you because, I'm a doctor of chiropractic and I read anywhere from 15 to 20 different, studies that come out on a regular basis every single day because I love to do it. Are you doing that? Are you challenging yourself?
I got on a phone conversation with a doctor. I don't know what she was.
Well, she called herself
a midwife, but she wasn't a midwife. But anyways, I got into a conversation with her. I was on the phone. It was during an appointment, and she knew I was on the phone. And I heard what she was saying, and I knew, because I had looked at the up-to-date studies, that what she was saying was false, or it was outdated information. Yeah. She was, well, first of all, New England Journal of Medicine, 17 to 20 years it takes for research to come out and then be applied to clinical practice. So as I'm talking to her, I told her, you are wrong. And just so you guys know, I would do the same thing if I was just a patient without the doctor. But I told her, I pulled up studies. I pulled up a study done on 3,200 women. That's a large study. From the Cochrane Review, and I told her it was from 2015, and she told me, we're about to go back onto the radio show, so I'll finish that here. Hey guys, welcome back to the Wellness Radio. This is Dr. Warren, so I had to clear up something. What? I don't know if Dr. Nathan knows this. I don't think my audience here knows this, but if you're listening on the radio, you know this, that I accidentally kicked us off our radio show, so Before the break,
Wow.
I just shut down Skype.
Nice.
So people were like, oh, they're probably listening and saying like, what just happened? And it was 100% me.
Okay.
So we're going to pick up the topic where we left off.
I didn't even know that we were on break, to be honest with
I
you.
know. I was going to try. But I mean, if you're watching me on live, my faces I was making, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. And then it wouldn't go back on. But
I thought maybe I said something that surprised you.
I'm like, do you think our segment is that long? You're just talking.
It's fun.
So my bad, guys, for doing that. I don't know how that happened. I've never done that. We've been doing this for months now.
It happens.
Yeah, we're the Wellness Radio. We are Doctors Nathan and Rebecca Warren. We have a health center in Hamilton Place, and we do virtual health coaching all over the U.S., and we're just talking about what it looks like to be well.
Well, I was going to say, so you had brought up a story about a woman that was suffering with hormone issues and how she's going to start taking responsibility. Can we kind of like dissect that a little bit? What do you think are going to be some of the first few steps that you're going to take with her to start figuring out, like, okay, you know, the testosterone issue that you were mentioning, because she was showing some symptoms of that. Like, give like people on the radio and people on Facebook Live, kind of like, you know, even the next few steps you're going to take to kind of solve, that problem.
Okay, this is going to be really good. This is going to be really great for women here, but it's going to be really, really good, especially for men, especially men that are having testosterone issues. So the problem is with the current treatment of testosterone issues, what we're looking at is testosterone itself.
Okay.
So if there's not enough testosterone, like in men, the answer is to provide testosterone. And so in her case, she had too much testosterone, right? And so
what would symptoms look like that for women?
Hair loss, it like kind of male pattern baldness around the temples. You'll break out with acne, especially around the chin. You might notice hair growth in areas that you don't want hair to be growing, or you'll see that your hair is growing a lot more. Mm-hmm. Now, with men having too little testosterone, but women can have that too, we're talking about you just don't feel like yourself. You don't have drive. Like, why?
Libido's down.
Your sex drive is down. You cannot put on muscle. But I feel like the two biggest things with low testosterone for both men and women is going to be, number one, the sex drive, and number two, your feeling. Like, when you have low testosterone, you don't have that drive to go out and accomplish what you want to do, right? Like, you just feel like you're just going by your day, just kind of tired and not really have more energy or more drive to do anything else. And so the problem...
Well, I was going to say, doesn't it increase your risk of cancer, increase your risk of heart disease, diabetes, obesity? It increases your risk of all of those things, right? I mean, that's how important.
Well,
it even ages you quicker.
It increases your risk. However, those things tend to be the reason why you have the testosterone issue in the first place.
Cool.
So you asked, like, what approach I'm going to take. So she's going to do a Dutch test that we do in the office. If you're curious to see more about this hormone testing, both men and women can do it. It's on our website at doctorswarren.com. But we're going to do Dutch testing because we need to understand this. Listen, testosterone is the bottom product. You have to work your way up the pathway. Testosterone is broken down into two different metabolites. You can have normal testosterone, but you have more androgenic testosterone, just alpha androgenic testosterone, or might have more beta. We have to see what your testosterone is made of. Then we need to go up. We got to go up that pathway. We have to figure out, okay, so testosterone, there's DHEA, there's DHES, there's your adrenals. So listen to this. I'm pretty certain that there's an adrenal issue going on there. Men, is it possible that your coke, you're working crazy hours at work, going for all these years, has wrecked your adrenals, which is why you're feeling tired, which is why you're putting on weight, which is why you're losing your temper. But now you have low testosterone. It's probably that, and then you add like statin medication. So, okay, so we found out that hers is probably from her adrenals, right? But it even goes further back because your testosterone comes from cholesterol. So Is it cholesterol? Is it the liver? Is it the adrenals? Is it sulfation, inflammation? Is it the makeup of testosterone? So what's really, I feel real disrespectful to the powerful, amazing body that you have. What's real disrespectful is that when you have a problem, the doctor thinks that a simple pill can fix how intricate and how interwoven our body and hormones are.
And that's only looking at just free testosterone,
that's
right?
Just looking at testosterone.
That's not even finding out like what are the, like you said, like what are the metabolic effects? What are the upstream pathway from a biochemistry standpoint that may be going on that's leading to the problem? Like, you know, it's the same thing as how you talk about with thyroid, you know, issues. Like if you don't see a full kind of workup there to see the whole ins and outs of it, like you don't know if it's a conversion issue, you don't know if it's a vitamin D deficiency, a vitamin B deficiency, if it's iron deficiency. You don't know, you know, again, there's so many different factors. Is it an issue with the hypothalamus? Like there's just so many different factors. That's why you have to get an in-depth look at it, not just saying, oh, you know what, once a year we're going to check your free testosterone. Oh man, it's like in range or it's not in range. Like it doesn't really tell us like the full picture so that you can actually break it down and say, okay, you know what, like here is a specific lifestyle change that you can make to start going down a different pathway or start, you know, metabolizing that hormone differently, or again, really getting the body back into a balanced state and improving, you know, the function and the uptake of that hormone itself.
And why that matters is this, because you can artificially boost your testosterone or decrease it. Yeah, you can take a testosterone blocker, DHT blocker, but that pathway doesn't just affect the production of testosterone. If we go up that pathway and we find out that your adrenals are overwhelmed, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that's going to affect every single one of your hormones. So you artificially make your testosterone look good, and you might have an increase of energy, or you might see that, you know, you are able to, if you're a woman, you're able to bring down your testosterone, but then now you're going to see your thyroid hormones, you're going to see your leptin, you're going to see your ghrelin, you're going to see your insulin, you're going to see your whole body go out of whack. But good news, your testosterone is in adequate levels. Yeah,
and she just made me think of another story with another patient, probably about now, it's been about 2, maybe 3 months that they came in, who saw, right, and family saw a quote-unquote natural medical doctor or maybe a functional medical doctor, you know, just across the state line.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, not across. Actually, I think it was like more north, like going towards Cleveland or something. But anyway, a natural medical doctor. And, you know, looked at this, you know, this guy's labs, which was actually within normal ranges for his age with testosterone, for his age also with thyroid hormone. And because they're considered a natural medical doctor, put him on testosterone, thyroid medication, and estrogen blockers, because she said, well, you know what? You know, we can make this more optimal. And so when I sat down, I had to explain, like, are you kidding me? So this woman decided that the best preventative measures and optimal measures is to get your body literally basically adapted to taking medication on a daily basis in order to bring up these hormones. And so the first month that he was under my care, he probably thought I was insane. Yeah. He probably thought, like, I want to punch you in the head. Like, what are you doing to me? Because it was rough. Like, as we were working him off of those, you know, medications. But now his energy levels are higher than they were before. That when he was on those you know, medications and hormone boosters, he is, you know, actually able to work out on a daily basis, perform better at his job. Again, he's feeling better and better and better. And again, we've only just started scratching the surface of it because we actually worked on lifestyle changes as opposed to making the body rely on medication. So I don't care if you put natural or functional in front of a medical doctor. A medical doctor most of the time is a medical doctor, right? Like you can dress a sheep or a wolf in sheep's clothing, it's still a flippin' wolf, right? And so just because you may be more natural, you say, you know what, I don't use Synthroid, so I'm putting them on Nature Throid, like you're still solving a problem the same exact stinking way. You know, again, it's with the mindset that says, you know what, we have to add in this substance in order to, you know, literally take care of this problem in the body, rather than saying, hey, how can we support the innate healing processes of the body? How can we remove, you know, this process, you know, overall, and really get to a point where we're saying, hey, you know what? We're actually seeing lifestyle make changes in the functional markers that we're looking for.
And this is the thing, what you've got to understand too, is that this is a process. This is a journey.
Yeah.
What you're looking for is not just this end goal thing. What you're looking for is that as you continue to age, you get better.
Yes.
And I mean, it's like a workout. You're never going to keep your muscles going just by working at one time. This is for the rest of your life. And so you're always going to be working on your health. You always got to have hope in that. You always have to be investing in your health. If you don't, you will end up investing in a broken system. All right, guys. So this is the Wellness Radio. If you're listening to us and you'd like our help, give us a call. That number is 423-362-5360. You can make an appointment to see myself or Dr. Nathan. You can check us out on our website at drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. And you can watch us live here on Facebook and see my crazy faces when I close down our radio show. But anyways, this is the Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break, guys.
All right, guys, welcome on Facebook. Good to see you guys joining us here. You know, yeah, I just, it drives me nuts. That's one of my pet peeves. And as you guys know, you're gonna think, man, Dr. Nathan, all he has is pet peeves. But
are you ever happy in life?
I am. I'm very, very happy. But it drives me nuts because it's like, oh yeah, I'm seeing, you know, this natural medical doctor, and like they're on more medication, seeing a natural medical doctor than they were before. They're taking metformin, they're taking thyroid medication, because you're like, oh no, this optimizes the function of those, because, you know, we are regenerative doctors and we think that this is going to, you know, these are medications that are quote unquote preventative. And I'm thinking here, interesting. There's no medication on the planet that does not have side effects. Not a single one. They all have side effects at some point.
Even if you need it. I don't have a thyroid, but you know, you got to be real. Like, it's always going to disrupt the natural systems in your body.
No doubt. Your body, and that's why it just drives me nuts. Because you say, okay, well, you have a thyroid issue, so instead of giving somebody Nature Throid or Synthroid or levothyroxine, it's like, well, what is the cause? Or, you know, giving a woman a hysterectomy doesn't necessarily mean it solves the problem of, you know, her hormone imbalance. And actually, I'd say it never solves the problem, because we see those women in our office constantly, all the time, and those are usually the women that are suffering with things like fibromyalgia later in life. They're suffering with things like, you know, major blood sugar, insulin issues. They cannot lose weight very well. There's so many different factors in that really just, you know, honestly kind of make me sick.
I know. So Lindsay was like, I was wondering what that face was for.
Oh, when it went
freaking out about it, and Lori was like, truth. That is so true. And so I think, like, you know, I have been really processing what it means to heal, you know, for myself in my own health journey, for the women that I coach. And it's just, I think we have gotten to this place in our mind that we need to see it. We need to see it quick, or we need to see it in our timeline. And we need to see it quickly. And I mean, the truth is that's kind of happened too, because of this kind of system that we can take a pill and we can see immediately changes. And that's what we expect everything to happen. I mean, come on. I get mad because my page wasn't loading. And when I realized that it wasn't taking that long, but because it wasn't instant, I was getting annoyed. So we live in this instant society, and we approach our health the same way, where we say, I should be better in a week, in a month. What happens in a year, in 5 years? Are you meant to get better in just a year or 5 years? Or are you meant to get better 10, 15, 20 years? And it's really hard when you have difficult situations going on in your health, to wrap your mind around that it's a process.
Yeah.
And that every step is moving you forward. And that when you're 80 years old and you're able to take care of yourself and you're able to go on a cruise, well, I don't know if cruise ships are going to be around.
Do those exist anymore?
Anyways, when you can go tour Europe at 80 years old versus ending up in a nursing home, that's where you see it pay off. We have a hard time seeing ourselves down the road because we struggle with what's right in front of us.
Yeah.
And so healing is a process. It takes time. And that's why I love the chiropractic principles, because there's principles that are the foundation for our profession. And there's principles of truth. When they wrote it, it is based off of truth, whether you believe them or not. But one of the principles is the principle of time. That time is needed to allow your body to heal. There's a principle that the body is never going to harm itself.
Yeah.
It is never going to do anything purposely to kill itself, to harm itself. Even though when you go to the doctor and your blood pressure is high, you're being told that your body is making a mistake and it's going to hurt you. Your body is never, ever going to do anything to harm itself. There's a principle that the body's created to heal, that the same power that allows the sun to rise and the moon to come up is inside your body, and it's there to heal.
No doubt.
All right, we're about to go back.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I am your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren, and we're just having a fun discussion today. This is good, talking about patience, but also kind of breaking down like what our thought processes are, what our goals are with that. But you were just talking about kind of the foundations of how we practice there, the principle of time. That every healing process takes time, and guess what? It's different for each and every one of you. It's different for me. Actually, was taking care of a woman yesterday. It was her first adjustment, right? And so she has had neck pain for 15 years. Doing an x-ray of her, she has a complete reverse curve. So that means instead of having a 45-degree curve, her curve is actually going the complete opposite way. She's at least phase 2 going into phase 3 degenerative joints. So really having a lot of issues there. And I adjusted her, and as we're adjusting, she's like, "Wow, is this feeling better? This is, I feel really good." Get her on the vibration plate, and as she's saying this, she's like, "Yeah, but I still have a little bit of pain, like right through here." And like sometimes I have to catch myself, but I'm sure that my jaw kind of dropped open because I'm like, here's a woman who's had probably 40 to 50 years worth of damage to your neck, and you are thinking that in one magical moment with an adjustment that every single bit of that problem is going to get taken care of. And then I had to think, you know what? You got to give some grace here, because that's just the society we live in. That is what we've been taught. We've been taught that, you've got acid reflux. No big deal. Here is a little pill that you can take that's going to get rid of that symptom. Oh, by the way, that's going to increase your risk of having a cardiac event by almost 100%. That means you're almost guaranteed in your future, if you're taking those long term, that you will have a cardiac problem. But we're not going to talk about that because your acid reflux is gone. That's a society that we've created, and we see that. We absolutely see that on a regular basis, and that's what we really want to make sure that we're breaking first. The number one thing that I believe that we bring to our patients on a daily basis, and the number one thing that I think all of you guys that are listening can teach other people, is kind of some of these foundational principles, because if they get that, then the rest of it will follow, right? If you understand that the body is designed to heal, that the body never makes a mistake, it only adapts and responds to its internal and external environment, that it takes time to heal, and that time is something that we don't always know, both the doctor and the patient and we just don't always know what that time is, and that there are certain foundational health practices that are not optional, right? Like movement is not optional. If you do not move, you will die. If your cells do not move, they will die. If your body does not move, you will die. So movement is foundational. What else is foundational? Food, the real food that we consume. That is foundational. That is not a supplement.
See, this is so crazy because we haven't talked about this, and I just had a conversation with someone in our office, and no. I get there's like food is medicine. No. Food isn't medicine
at all.
Food is nourishment. Food is essential. Food is literally basic for our ability to be human, to function at our God-given potential.
Yes.
It is not medicine. It is not a biohack.
Yeah.
It is not. People go around looking for superfoods while having a Diet Coke, but it's only once a week or whatever. Like, but we have these treats, but we're having all these superfoods. Food is not a biohack to use to heal your body. Food is essential. The fact that you have to change the way you eat in order to see your body get better, it means that you've been living years or decades without something basic and essential for your body to function. Mm-hmm. So nutrition, and that's the thing, is that like we have disconnected ourselves from the foods that we're eating. Mm-hmm. We're in a hurry, we're rushed, we're stressed out. Even when we're sitting around the table, our minds tend to be everywhere else.
Yeah.
We're spazzing out because of the news and technology and social media. We don't sit and think about the process it took for that animal to be on our plate or for that vegetable to be grown. Mm-hmm. So there's a complete disconnect from the foods we're consuming. You should eat better because you're a human being. Yeah. And a human being needs nourishing building blocks to be a healthy human. Yeah. It's basic. You giving yourself crap food, you will get disease. Yeah. You will have a heart attack. You will get dementia. You will have diabetes. I'm not trying to be morbid here, but the numbers say that is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's why I think there's so many debates about like what diet is better. Is this diet better? I do paleo diet, or I'm a vegan, or I do carnivore, or I do GAPS, or I do all of these different things. And what we don't realize is if like kind of, and this is to say, like, especially if you have kids, like start raising them with some of these foundations, is that if we are working on taking care of all those foundational principles of health that, again, I went over a second ago, and we can go over those in just a minute, like, the way we move, the way our nervous system is functioning, just eating real food, making sure that we're getting deep breath, connecting with the earth, making sure that we're taking care of good, healthy sleep and our circadian rhythm. And we're doing those things, working on reducing our stress levels. Guys, listen, you do those, you are setting, your body is designed to function optimally, period, right? That is the way it is designed. Now, because certain people choose to eat, things like fake food. I don't know about you, but even though I've made major changes in my health for 12 years now, major changes, I also recognize this, that for 21 years of my life, I ate a lot of fake food, right? Just because you can chew it and swallow it does not mean that it's real food, right? I used to remember one of my favorite things to consume all the time was, the Oreo cookies, right? That I would dip into like conventional cow's milk, which is basically a bunch of dead stuff.
Just so you know, some people right now are like, wait, but that's what I just ate last night.
Okay, so let me rephrase this then. You're still loved. There's still hope. You're gonna do great. You're not a bad person because you did that. Again, now we're giving you better information so that you can take better care of yourself. How about that? That's pre-framed, okay? And no judgments either, because again, I'm literally talking about my life, right? I'm talking about what I did. And so, one of my favorite things was I would take those Oreos, I would dip it into, conventional cow's milk, and I would eat like a whole box of them. Like in college when I was training as a soccer player, they wanted me to put on muscle and wanted me to put on weight. Guys, if you've ever met me and you've seen me, I'm not a big guy, right? Like what, 5'4", 5'5" on a really good day. What? I told her when we first started dating, I told her that I was like 5'6", and so like
no, you said 5'7".
No, I didn't say.
Yes, you
5'6", and she, after kind of hanging out with me for a couple days and like me taking off my shoes, she's like, No, there's no way. You're not there. But if you've seen me, you know that I'm a smaller guy, right? And so, what's interesting is they wanted me when I was playing Division I soccer to be around like 130 to 140 pounds. And I got my body all the way up to around like 135, close to 140. And there was a lot of muscle. But here's what I realized. I felt like crap inside of my body because I was eating like, 20 chicken nuggets and French fries at
Chocolate
midnight,
milk,
chocolate frosty, donuts, all of these different things because I was trying to put on this weight and I was lifting and doing that stuff. And I felt like crap in my body. Like I literally developed things like migraine headaches, my sinus problems got worse. I had all of these issues, but also too, the muscle, even though it looked good, it was so soft, like it wasn't functional muscle. And we see this happen all the time with men. They're like lifting all the time and they're like, it's okay, I'm just eating all these calories and I'm building all this muscle. And you can literally touch it and your finger sinks in, half an inch. That is not true muscle, right? We're talking about junk. That stuff is junk. You give them 3 months not working out, and guess what? They're literally now 40 pounds overweight immediately. Yeah. And so, all that to be said, that was the lifestyle that I was living. And so I understand the damage that did inside of my body, right? It probably had genetic issues that literally hit my DNA, probably had definitely damaged my cell membranes that take years to heal. And so the bottom line is, guys, you can see major changes, but it takes time. It takes time, and you have to be consistent with those changes. So I know we got to go on a quick break. Guys, if you're listening on the radio or on Facebook Live, you want to know more about us, DRwarren.com, DRSWARREN.com, and you can schedule an appointment there. You can find out more about us. You can watch videos. You can read blog posts. You can see who we are. You can shop on our page, but you can check that out, DRwarren.com, or you can give the girls a call if you want to set up an appointment. That number is 423-362-5360, 362-5360. This is Wellness Radio with Dr. Nathan, Dr. Rebecca Warren. We'll be right back after the break.
I saw a question here.
Okay.
It was about
David. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Food sensitivity testing, and so we do food sensitivity testing. I'm pretty sure you can go to our website, DRwarren.com, and we have tests on there that you can just purchase on there, and with the console. Now, I do want to, because we just had this conversation recently with someone about food sensitivity testing. And the problem is that a lot of people use food sensitivity testing as a way to see, obviously foods that are causing issues within their bodies, and then they eliminate them forever. And that's not how you use food sensitivity tests. Also, you have to be aware of how to read it. Not every positive is a real positive, and not every negative is a real negative, like it could be a false negative. So you have to read it the right way. And so this is what we've learned to do throughout the years and to help people with that. But the whole point of the food sensitivity test is to avoid the foods while you heal your gut.
Yes.
And this is for your kid, which is we do a lot of these tests on kids. You eliminate the food while you heal the child's gut, and then you reintroduce it.
Yep.
So
slowly, over time.
Slowly.
Right? One at a time to see how your body reacts. And like you made a really good point with that. You said false positive or false negative. So let me give you an idea what that means. Like you could show up with like, it could be like avocado could be a little bit higher, but then I find out, because we also take food diaries from patients and we also kind of dig in a little bit. Well, I find out, well, you know what, maybe the child consumed an avocado like right before they took the test. And I'm like, well, you know what, we may try this. I'm going to have them, eat some avocado, and I want to see how they react over the next 24 to 48 hours. Oh, there was no reaction. I'm probably going to keep that in their diet. But then there could be other ones that's like, well, you know what, eggs didn't show up here, but every time I eat eggs, like I see a little flare up on my skin or on my eczema. Well, guess what? We're gonna cut that out for a little bit while we're working on it. So yeah, you have to break it down differently. That's why I always get annoyed when I hear even people in the functional realm that are like, food sensitivity tests are so inaccurate. I don't do those. And I'm like, no, that maybe I need to challenge you a little bit from a clinical standpoint, that you need to look into it a little bit deeper and use it as a tool to, again, kind of coach your patient through that. and figure it out based on you as an individual, right? Because you're all different. Everybody's different. You could have some of the similar gut issues as somebody next to you, but yet the way that you go about that could be completely different because you are an individual overall. So I like food sensitivity tests. I think they work really, really well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's like you have to figure out why, why it caused that, and then get that
heal the root cause. Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, so that's I mean, I think some of our favorite tests. I do like getting blood work done if it's being done the right way, all the right things, and read the correct way. I think it can give you a lot of really great information.
Yeah.
We might plug that in. It could give you a lot of really great information. But I think my top 2 favorite tests are going to be number 1, stool testing. I think that's just to know an idea of what's going on with our gut microbiome, I think is huge. Stool testing, and then Dutch testing, hormone testing. But again, guys, you can go on to drswarren.com and check out our tests there. Just give you an idea of what, and there's frequently asked questions on there if you guys wondering what it looks like to get coached by us or have information about appointments or content that we put out, or just go on there and check us out. But yeah, so the biggest thing is, a lot of the consults that I've been doing in my office has a lot to do with people knowing that, number 1, I know something is wrong, like I know I can be better, and not really knowing where to go next. And so my thing that I have started to really tell people a lot about is that you have to learn how to put your team together. There isn't going to be one person that's going to be the answer to everything, okay? Like, I don't just get adjusted. I don't just take supplements. I get adjusted. I take my supplements. I do cold therapy. I do quiet time. I do sauna. I'm about to get lymphatic massages. I'm about to do all these things. You've got to create kind of a whole just package around your health.
And that can be different for all of you, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I'm your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren, and we are talking all things health today. And I think you were just kind of going over like some of the things that you do, which I actually think will be fun to get into in the second hour. Once we do, maybe we can do this because I know actually Lori. I know if you're watching, she actually asked us that a really good thing to do would be maybe kind of take you through the day of what we're doing currently, and maybe why we're doing that currently, because just so you know, our routines do change up, but there are certain things that we always do, and we can kind of dive into that, in the second hour that I think would be a lot of fun, and kind of dissect that as well.
So guys, what we hope for you on this show, if you're listening to this, if this is your first time, if I know a lot of you guys have listened to us for a really long time, is that there comes a point when it comes to your health that you have to draw a line in the sand. With the craziness in the world, you have to understand and know that no one's going to advocate better than you for you and your family's health. No one cares as much as you. I don't care someone's education background. I don't care where they're coming from. I don't care if they say they care about you. You are going to be the best advocate for your health. So asking questions, digging deeper, and always striving to get better. I don't care if you are on 7 medications or on none. You always have to be moving your health forward. Hey, yeah, you can come in and see us. We can help you. We can do the adjustments. We can do the coaching. We can do nutrition. We can do all these different things. Whether you come in or not, you have to be actively investing in your health because you are fine. Time and money. You're right. And you are fine until you are not fine. Mm-hmm. First sign of heart issues is a heart attack, right? The cancers in your body, 10, 15 years, some cancers 20 years before you have a symptom on the outside. We know with all the statistics we're seeing about lifestyle-related diseases that are killing people and causing lifelong changes, that they're in your body, existing in your body before you have symptoms on the outside. So Dr. Rebecca, how would I know that I have cancer? How would I know that I'm doing this? Should I do testing? No. What you should do is you should be living every day as if you're fighting and preventing that. Because if you're living passively, things will happen to you. If you're living actively, then you can affect and you can influence what can happen to you. And yeah, life isn't perfect. Like Dr. Nathan said, sometimes you've had 25 years of damage that just a year isn't going to change, that possible, heart issue. It will change how your body heals. Mm-hmm. It will change how you can recover. It will change what your body can handle. So guys, we just want to encourage you. Health is in your hands. No matter where you're at, whether you're good, whether you feel like you're not good, there's always room to improve. There's always room to get better. And if you'd like our help, you can give the team a call, 423-362-5360 if you'd like to set up an appointment with us. Or check us out at drswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com, or on Facebook at Drs. Warren. Guys, we'll see you next week. And hotty toddy.
Second hour.
Oh, second hour.
This is second
Sorry,
hour. Yeah.
Not next week.
See you after the break.
You after the break. My bad. Hotty toddy.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, guys.
I always get so stressed out getting that last section in, because our engineer's and I'm like, ah.
You got a lot of things to try to get in a short amount of time.
Wrap it up.
For sure. Well, I think one thing that's really, really good, and you were mentioning how taking these steps towards your health. I think you have to find out what is that for you, right? What is that for you? So for you, it may not be, which, you were talking about sauna and things like that. It may not be that, right, for you. Maybe for you, it's just saying, hey, you know what? For the next 60 to 90 days, I am not going to eat anything that's fake food. I'm only going to eat real food. So I'm eating, meat and vegetables, fruit, nuts and seeds, good healthy fats. I'm only going to consume really good food, right? Just real food. And that's your step to take. And that's amazing. And you should applaud yourself and you should be excited because that means that you are doing, you're taking the steps, that it takes to start transforming your health and transforming your future. Maybe for some of you, and this is one that especially for me, that I've been working on and that I really need to continue to work on is the gratitude standpoint, right? Where is your mindset? Yeah. How grateful are you for just being able to breathe or for being alive? Or, when you sit down at a meal, instead of kind of scarfing it down or thinking about all the things that happened that day, are you just grateful, to be there? Are you around people that you love, right? And being able to celebrate life with, screw social distancing and freaking COVID crap. You should be around the people that you love. Get out of your damn bubble and get to the point where you're staying around your friends, your family, reaching out to your community, maybe people you don't know, because you never know that down the street that you've never met could be your best friend, for the rest of your life. But being around people that you love and being grateful, I think that maybe even at its core, I think that might be one of the most important aspects of health, because it changes your entire physiology. It changes this, which then in turn changes you at a cellular and genetic level. Gratitude is such a big thing.
So I don't know if my team is watching, but listen, guys, your mindset determines your success levels in all areas of your life. And in our office, we've seen this happen year after year. We can have case studies where we can show you that, okay, this person is staying positive and they might have a difficult journey, but they're driven. And it's not just staying positive, because I'm not a positive person. Well, I am. I'm just a realistic person. I'm a realistic person.
We seem to be opposite. Person. She has to keep me grounded because I'll be way out here in La La Land and 10 years ahead of the time, and then she'll be not only right here, kind of realistic moment, but then also 3 years, behind.
Let's discuss all the mistakes we made back then.
So we balance.
So we gotta work on that. I gotta work on that. But the thing is this, we have a unique experience where we've interacted with so many people. And so the people that I sit across from, and I can hear it in their language, there's a lot of negativity or hopelessness or anxiousness. And we see the path. For someone might have a more difficult case, but have more hope and more drive, and they're going to try to keep the words positive. And they will see amazing results beyond what I thought they could get. And they're killing it. And then I see people that I know, heck, we're going to do this is going to work, this is going to work. But the anxiety, the way they talk, and they don't notice it, but I see it. I mean, we just had a situation where we did testing on two different people, same family, same issue.
Eat the same food, same lifestyle.
Same foods, same lifestyle. Guys, I just did this. Same lifestyle, same food, same protocol, same everything. And I told my team, I said, I feel like I'm going to be able to see one person's going to get better and I'm going to see it because I sense that
this
energy.
This is with H. pylori. This is like confirmed on testing.
Confirmed on testing, a before and after. Before and after. The person that was more, focused, more positive, more this, it's gone. The other one,
completely gone.
So the mindset is such a big part of your healing process. The mindset is such a big part of your ability to get up and go. Like, that's the first thing. And if you aren't hopeful in the way that you speak and the way that you think, you're not gonna, and I see it, I know it. I know the women that I coach, they mess up on their food and nutrition, and I have the conversation. It has nothing to do. I can teach them all day long. They know the knowledge. It's not the knowledge. It's the fact that you're actively choosing to eat at Burger King. And okay, yeah, you're eating at Burger King, but you're also actively choosing to have the fries and the bread. That is not a knowledge thing. That is a spirit. It's a mind thing. You have to address your mindset in order to heal.
Man, so true. Mindset is a big deal. So like for some of you, maybe like today, I'll give it like one really simple thing that you can do. And I try to do this, especially with like some of my, like the cancer patients that we work with, and those type of things that I say, okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 to 5, positive affirmations that have to do with, what is it, what your goal is basically, like, if it has to do with cancer, that it's not ended like, oh, I want to beat cancer, because then all your subconscious hears is cancer, rather than saying like, my body is a powerful healing, mechanism. My body is powerful beyond, it's powerful, right? Whatever it is for you, you're going to write 3 to 5 affirmations down, and you are going to put that in a place where you can read it and see it every morning and every evening. It's huge. All right, guys, welcome back to the second hour of Wellness Radio with Dr. Nathan Warren and Dr. Rebecca Warren, and we will be, kind of diving into some fun topics on the second hour. I would like to dive into kind of some of the things that we're doing. We've had that question many times. I know Lori, you specifically asked that, of me in the clinic to kind of go through, hey, what are some of the things that you do? We had, actually a guy the other day that we came across that said, hey, what are the top like 3 to 5 supplements that you take on a daily basis that you would not live without, and those type of things. So we're going to go through some of that on this second hour. I think it should be a lot of fun. Again, if you have any specific questions, maybe about lifestyle or about like, maybe it's like your personal, like maybe it's like a protocol that you're trying to do, whatever that is, ask it. If you're live on Facebook with us, Drs. Warren, DRSWARREN on Facebook. If you're listening on the radio, you can continue to listen on the radio, and you can jump over to Facebook because it's a lot of fun. You get to interact with us and everything. But that's what we're going to be going over on the show. If you're just now tuning in, whether on Facebook Live or on our radio show, and you don't even know who the heck we are, you just came across it, we are doctors.
Lucky you.
Yeah, right? Welcome. We're excited. There's always a reason, right? But we're local doctors here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we work with, little babies all the way up to 99, 100 years old with their health. So we do a lot of, functional wellness in our practice, where we're diving into, things like stool testing and food sensitivity testing and nutritional counseling and coaching, and protocols for detoxification, mold toxicity, all of these different things. And we also work with the nervous system and really helping to balance that out as well. So again, if you've never heard of us, go check us out on our website. Just get to know us a little bit. Interact with us. We want to be able to, give you guys not only the best information, but also too, we just want to be able to pour more into you with what it takes to start, taking that health journey into your own hands. So go to drswarren.com and you can check us out more there as well.
Absolutely. So do you want to go into our biohacks or what we do on a daily basis?
Yeah, just kind of like, what are you right now, like what are you doing for your health? Like what is specifically are you targeting and everything, and let's go into that.
So a little bit about my background for you guys that are listening. I'm an expert on hormones because unfortunately I'm taking my pain and I'm using it for my purpose. At 19, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, got my thyroid cut out, only to find out that just like lots of breast cancer diagnoses, just
Millions.
like precancerous diagnoses, there's so many different types of cancers that they're hitting aggressively that is absolutely unnecessary. But Dr. Rebecca, my oncologist, your oncologist is wrong. The most up-to-date research is saying we need to stop calling so many things the C word. Because what's the first thing you hear?
Yeah.
You hear cancer, you hear death, you hear, oh my gosh, when a lot of you guys could live with your diagnosis for the rest of your life without any issues, like me. Mm-hmm. My diagnosis was one of those diagnoses that now they're saying we need to stop hitting it so aggressively. So I live without a thyroid. So all of you guys should work always on your health. I have to work times 12 compared to you guys, okay? So every day I'm working on health. I've done a lot of things for my health.
Because you're missing 2 organs.
I am missing 2 organs. I'm missing my gallbladder and my thyroid, all before my 21st birthday.
Yeah. And gallbladder's huge, by the way. Mm-hmm. Just because you've had it removed, guys, we think of that as a simple surgery. It's not simple.
No. It's not. It's always kind of the tip of the iceberg of some more underlying issues. So what I've been working on is I've been focusing a lot on detox and gut health. I had a lot of lead. And so, I had a mom say like, hey, she was working with paint and she was sanding it and she went halfway through before realizing that there's lead, tested it and there was lead and her kid was around. So she took him to the doctor and got the blood work done. Lead doesn't just straight up just chill in the blood. It's being absorbed into your bones. It's stored into your bones. Like heavy metals are going to be stored, so you have to bring them out. And so I did, and I had high levels of lead.
3 times.
3 times the higher levels of lead, which is why I'm not really jumping back from my last birth, which was 3 years ago. So that's what I'm working on. So what does it look like for me on a daily basis? I am intermittent fasting. Okay, so I'm intermittent fasting 16 hours. Some days I'll go 20 hours, depending on if I've had a refeed period. So a lot of people are doing keto and they're doing it long term, and doing long term keto is never, it's not good. Yeah. You have to vary your diet and add in carb days and then go back to those low carb days. So I will actually, every on cycle that I'm detoxing, I go into carnivore. I do the carnivore diet, and you're probably like, "Oh, is this a fad or whatever?" No, I mean it's just.
I've been using it for.
So talk a little bit more. Why the carnivore? Someone would do carnivore, which this is going to drive the vegans out there really. Yeah. Nuts, but
right. Yeah. So I mean, so why sometimes why you do carnivore and why it can be powerful is because you're looking at not only is again good quality animal products, not only is it some of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet, and actually I'd argue the most nutrient dense fan. You think kale is nutrient dense? Look at grass fed liver and tell me the nutrient density profile of that. It's not even close. So we know that certain good quality animal, fat and protein can be absolutely nutrient dense, but also too, there's really only 2 primary macronutrients that your body absolutely has to have, and if you don't have them, you will die, right? And that's fatty acids, which you get a lot from good quality animal fat, and then also amino acids, which you get the best absorbable and utilized amino acids, again, especially when we're looking at things like essential amino acids, and some of those branched chain, you get those from, again, high quality animal, protein, right? And so when you utilize something like a carnivore diet, it's amazing how quickly you can reduce inflammation, because actually meat and fat are actually very, very easy to digest. You know, when we're looking at our stomach acid, unless you have a stomach acid issue, right, which some people do, and so you need to solve that as well as you're kind of going through this. Sometimes like, well, meat's like hard for me to digest, and I'm like, that's only because your digestive system is not working appropriately. Because if your hydrochloric acid is working the way it should, you know, we're talking about very, very acidic, you know, that starts breaking that down, and actually it's very easy for your body to digest it, whereas certain plants take a more sophisticated gut to break it down. And so, interesting though, when Dr. Rebecca first did, you know, the carnivore diet for a period of time, she actually had, by the second day, the lowest like blood glucose that we have seen in her, you know, and then we're talking about years of even utilizing fasting.
And that's a problem though, because if I cannot get my blood sugar, like the metabolic issue is becoming a metabolic issue for everyone. Type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's dementia. PCOS is a metabolic issue. Type 1.5, type 1, type 2, everyone's and then there's metabolic syndrome. Cancer is a metabolic issue. So if you're not able to get your blood sugar down, if you're not able to keep it in this range, I mean, that's a big red flag. And so with me, there was this resistance of my ability to get my blood sugar down. And carnivore was one way that I was able to get it down. Now, I'm not doing it all the time. I do vary my diet, and I actually do just enjoy salads. You don't.
Yeah.
I love salads.
I'd rather drink my salad,
so I enjoy it.
Blender
so that's why I do it, but this is the thing. Most of you guys are never, ever varying your diet. Like, that is... We're missing an essential to being like human here on this earth. If we had grown our food, if we had hunted, if we were connected with our environment, if we cared for our environment, we would be eating only what was available to us, and there would be a natural variation. But now you're eating the same crap over and over again, whenever you want, however you want, at whatever time you want. And our body needs the break. It's crazy that what naturally would happen when we lived on this earth, connected to this earth, now studies are saying, oh, whoa, there was benefits in all these areas. There was benefits in not eating for hours. There was a benefit to not eat for a whole day. There's benefit to only eat meat when meat was available. There's benefits to only eat vegetables when you only had vegetables available. But we don't do that anymore. All we eat, and so again, the big question we get is, how do I eat? There is no set diet. There is no set way. But we do know you have to eat in a way that's healing. Mm-hmm. You have to eat in a way that's nourishing. Sorry, not healing. You have to eat in a way that's nourishing so that your body is nourished so that the body can heal itself. The food's not going to heal you, right? You have to nourish your body. That's the first thing. And then the second thing we know is that you have to vary your diet. You have to change it up. You have to fast. You have to eat more. You have to eat less. You have to vary your diet according to each season. Yep. And so that's what I do. I go to carnivore, and then I'll go to high veggies for a little while, and then I'm mostly in keto a majority of the time. In and out. And I do that. I do contrast showers, and I do dry brushing. So contrast showers is a way to train your autonomic nervous system. It's your fight or flight response. In its simplest form, what you do with going to hot, cold showers is you're training your body to handle stress better. That's what you're doing. Yep. Because what happens is, and I usually do it after I sauna. We'll talk about infrared sauna here in a second because we love Sisu sauna and Southside. They're amazing. But when you put yourself in that cold water, what you have to work on is your mindset and your breathing. And that is 100% your mind. Like, isn't it crazy to think your mindset is your mind? You have to think yourself there. Mm-hmm. So when you put yourself in those contrast shower, we do the Wim Hof method. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is you're calming your mind, you're calming your thoughts, you're calming your breathing, you're taking deep breath in, which is what you need to do in every stressful situation, but we don't do it. So you were training your bodies to handle stress better so that my HPA axis, my hypothalamus pituitary, and my adrenals can handle stress better on a daily basis. Why does that matter? Because chronic stress is going to lead to chronic disease. And we're not talking about stress just because of work and just COVID. That's a big stress. But we're talking about emotional stressors. We're talking about toxicity, chemical stressors. Everything that's unnatural in this world is a stressor to our body, and we have to learn how to react better to that. I do dry brushing. It's kind of like a bristle brush, wood handle, and I brush towards my lymphatic, towards my heart, towards my areas, and I can do a video of this on our Facebook page. But I do that because I want to assist my body in eliminating toxins. Everything that I'm doing is helping my body with its natural process of doing that. Now, earthing, I do grounding, going outside barefoot in the sun, because there's ion charges that help our body rebalance. I mean, really, a lot of my biohacks are to help with the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. So that's a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I was going to say too, like, you really do have to, like, she has to pay attention to her adrenals as well, since she doesn't have a thyroid. You usually see somebody that has, like, you know, thyroid issues or, you know, or adrenal issues, it usually affects the other one, you know, quite a bit. So you've got to really pay attention to that. But that's also why, again, for you, it's such a great thing that you do utilize certain days where you refeed the body, where you do add in some of those carbohydrates from the standpoint of, like, you know, hormones and hormone balance, and varying the diet makes a big deal for, you know, for you and your energy levels. It's actually been a really great thing.
So guys, we have to go on break. If this is your first time listening, this is Doctors Warren. You can find us at doctorswarren.com or on Facebook at Doctors Warren. And this is the Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So as we're, as we were kind of going through hers, I was thinking about one of the things that she's been doing as well that I think is a really good one for you guys to hear is she's been really working on detoxifying her like lead right out of her body and other toxins as well. But how long have you been doing cycles of detox? On and off?
Yeah. It was a year and a half.
Year and a half. So, next time you go to a health food store, next time you're in Whole Foods, or you're at, you know, a local health food store, or you're on Amazon, or you're on, you know, a website, and you see something that says 30-day detox, that is not true detoxification.
This is a cleansing.
Yeah. There's a difference between cleansing and detoxification. Detoxification happens at a cellular level, and it happens over time and in layers, which means that some of you, like when we first started we weren't ready to jump into removing heavy metals, you know, at a high level.
Well,
we had to prep the body first.
I've been detoxing for a year and a half, but I've been actively working on my health. I've been doing keto. I've been diet variation since... oh my gosh, my dates. I would say 13 years.
Yeah.
Wait, no. 12 years. It's still a long time. Yeah. But so when you think about that, you're like, oh my gosh, you've been doing that for like 12 years and you're still doing stuff. Yeah, because the difference is this. If I wasn't doing stuff, then I can tell you this. I've been added to groups where people are living without a thyroid and their life is just miserable. If I had not changed this, I would have had fertility issues because I had lost my cycle. Where I'm at now is 20 times better than where I was even before I had my thyroid cut out. But it's still not where I want to stay. And I'm always going to keep moving forward. And so you have to have this vision for yourself about where you want to keep on moving towards. And and even where you get there, you're going to want to get better. So I'm going to go tell you this. I've been doing this for 12, 13 years. I'm going to do it for 40 more years. I will always get better. And when the new research comes out that this will help or this will, I'm going to do that. Because this is what I always say. This investing, you guys wouldn't believe how much money we invest on food. That's like our top thing we spend money on in our home. On supplements, even though we get it at doctor cost, we still probably spend way more than most of you guys on this. But all of that will always beat out the moment, that moment where I was 19 years old, feeling completely hopeless and scared to death in my doctor's office, hearing that I had cancer. All of this will always beat out that moment. All of this will always keep me out of that situation. And all of this will make me know that my daughter doesn't have to go through that. Because I'll tell you this, for me to have cancer at 19 means that something was happening at 9, at 10, at 11, at 12, when I was simply a child. So all of this that we do, all of this that we invest will always beat out those moments where you lose your health. Because when you lose your health, you lose time and money.
Yeah. All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I'm your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren. And so we are in the second hour here. We're going over kind of some of the things that we do on a daily basis and what we're working on. So Dr. Rebecca was kind of breaking down what she's been working on, really for a little bit now. And what's interesting is you were talking about her lead levels were almost 3 times the amount that should be in the body, and especially when you're looking at lead, it's stored in the bones, which means that there's different times when that lead is going to be leached from the bones and kind of circulate through the system, and some of those times are when they're pregnancy, they are nursing, postpartum, those type of things. And so guess what? Why do we work on our health like on a daily basis? Why is it a part of our lifestyle? Because guess what? Like, just like my kids, yes, even though we do so much for them that are healthy, they've been exposed to lead, and they have lead in their bodies right now.
Their playground, probably.
Yeah, which is wild, isn't it? Yeah, those of you that don't know, Chattanooga's got parts of Chattanooga have like a top 10
Highland Park,
yeah, like
South
lead
Side.
levels, crazy.
But this is why, I just keep thinking about, so I have someone that I'm coaching right now, and I just want to touch on this really quick. I want to touch on acid reflux, okay? I want to touch on that really quick because when you're not actively working on your health, like when you're working on it, when you're educating yourself, when you take responsibility for your health, your mindset, right now there's a lot of you guys that have stuff going on, and you think in your mind, this doesn't make sense. Like, just taking this pill, this doesn't seem right. I feel like there has to be something better out there. And I'm going to tell you there is. There absolutely is. If you want our help, check us out at doctorswarren.com. But there's so many resources out there. You just have to look. You have to invest. You have to invest your time. You have to invest your money, right? But when you are not actively working on that, like when you're not taking that to the next step, you know that there's something better. You know that it can't just be a medication to have to get well. Then you can start questioning things. And I just had someone who started coaching with me, and we're doing all of this. Oh my gosh, she's like, I'm ready. Tell me she's going to do the contrast shower. She's going to do all the same things that I'm doing. But let me give you an example of how you can get caught up in this broken system, especially with something like acid reflux. So she went to her doctor. They found ulcers in her stomach, right? And they put her on Prilosec. And the problem with that, a lot of you guys are taking acid reflux medication. You're taking medication, and you're taking it every single day, right? You're taking it every single day, and you're not getting better. Because that medication you're taking is causing the problem to get worse. Acid reflux is going to be a low stomach acid issue, not a high stomach acid issue. Studies are showing that with age, as you grow older, you have more chances of having this acid reflux issue because that stomach acid decreases. It's a low stomach acid issue. And what are the side effects of those medications? I remember we did a show on this a few years ago. We're talking about some serious side effects, and you guys are popping that like it's candy, which no offense, I understand. Like acid reflux, when I was pregnant, I had it, and my acid reflux felt like I had something in my chest. But when you're taking this medication with some serious side effects, you're taking it chronically, it's going to make you stay in this vicious cycle. And it was crazy because she reached out to me and she goes, I thought this didn't make sense. I thought I shouldn't do it. He just kind of just gave it to me, and then he didn't give me any direction about how to correct the issue. you can get well. But acid reflux is one of those things. It's acid reflux, gallbladder, blood pressure, and sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Those are these symptoms that are tip of the iceberg. They're these symptoms that are saying, oh, there's some big issues underneath, but no one really digs deeper. Why? Because you can take a pill to sleep, and if you don't take a pill, you can take melatonin that, even though it's natural, can mess up your circadian rhythm. You can have your gallbladder taken out. You don't have to think twice about it. It's a fast and easy surgery. Blood pressure medication, you can take that for your blood pressure. I mean, you have all of these things that your body's giving you that something is wrong, but you can take a pill for all of it, and every time you take a pill for one of those issues, you will always lead to more issues. So what do people do with stuff like acid reflux?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, first you got to say, okay, you got to recognize that if you are decreasing your hydrochloric acid, production, if you are doing that, it's like opening up the gates of your, it's like opening up, and you've got an army that's attacking you outside, just waiting to flood in. You are opening yourself up to parasitic infections, to overgrowth issues in the upper intestine, which, by the way, things like SIBO, even though you may see it as a buzzword on Facebook or on online areas, guys, it literally over time shuts down the way the gut works. It shuts it down. You stop functioning as far as pushing out, food, and it can shut down peristalsis. It can literally lead to gastroparesis, right, later on. So it's opening up the gates and saying, hey, you know what? Any pathogens that are out there or any overgrowths that need to happen, go ahead and do it. You have free reign when you are shutting down the amount of hydrochloric acid that's produced. It literally changes the entire digestive process. Every single bit of it. Gallbladder,
acid
liver,
reflux.
all of it. Yeah. Acid reflux. Something that seems to be so simple. And what's interesting is even a simple WebMD search, right? Which is total crap anyway, but either way, WebMD search, you know what it says? 70 to 80% of acid reflux issues are an issue with something called the vagus nerve, right? It's an issue, it's a vagal nerve issue. Now, how do they solve that? How do medical doctors solve that in babies when they have, reflux? They give them antidepressant medications.
They do to adults too, yeah.
That is, how can I say it? That is sick. That is sick. That is absolutely ridiculous. If that's the approach that's taken. Why? Because they're trying to suppress the vagus nerve, right? They're trying to absolutely affect the vagus nerve. That's what's going on there. Rather than saying, hey, what could be affecting the vagal nerve tone? What could be affecting that? What areas of the brain? What areas of the spine? Right? Those type of things. And so that's why I always love, I would say we're probably, in the office, maybe 6 to 7 out of 10 people that have reflux. Just by working on their cervical curve, we start to see major improvements, if not full eradication of it. Not because we treat it, but because their body, is now able, their vagus nerve is now able to respond appropriately just by doing that.
And then the other smaller percentage, we do gut testing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if there's H. pylori, we address it, and then we see some really great changes in regards to their digestion. So you're listening to this, you have acid reflux. It's not just this annoying thing. It's a big thing about giving you some insight about what's going on within your gut microbiome.
And I liked how you said that. It's an iceberg symptom. Right? It's an iceberg symptom, because that's so true. It's the tip of the iceberg symptom. You mentioned sleep. It's a tip of the iceberg symptom because, again, if your sleep is being affected, there is probably major issues underneath, that are driving that. Even something like chronic pain. Right? Chronic low back pain that's affecting your sleep. It's huge because you are destroying your entire life if you are not sleeping well, right? If you are not at least consistently, staying on track with good proper sleep, I mean, it's one of the most detrimental things, to your health. You mentioned, what was the other one? Blood pressure, right? It is a tip of the iceberg symptom because if you have a blood pressure issue, you already have, I can count 2 on my hand, you already have an issue with the heart, right? Because you're either suppressing the function of your heart muscle, or you are doing some things that again are disrupting the way that it was trying to adapt to its environment. And the second one is the kidneys. You are affecting the kidneys. Even though people will put somebody on blood pressure medications because they say we're trying to protect the kidneys. You know what a long-term side effect of taking blood pressure medications is that it damages the kidneys, right? Long term. And so again, guys, it's a tip of the iceberg symptom that even though for you it seems like, it's just simple. My doctor writes me a script. I take a little bit.
That's what we hear.
Just a little bit. It's literally,
not,
it's masking a major issue underneath, and it does lead to major problems later on. And that's why we want you to think in those terms. Man, that was a really good analogy. It's a tip of the iceberg symptom.
And these are common symptoms that a lot of you guys might be experiencing that you will always need more medication. Listen, if you need anything, and this goes for medication or supplements, if you have to take something every day to be able to function, to be
like your life
human,
cannot function
like
without
your life cannot function without a pill or a supplement, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like your body, you take supplements to improve. You take supplements to make things better, to support a body or to target something. But if you need something every day for the rest of your life, that's a big red flag that your body is not healing and functioning well. If you're listening to this and this is you and you're just like, man, yeah, that's me, I want help, you can give a call to the office. You can make an appointment. The team can let you know what that looks like. In our clinic, we're located in Hamilton Place, right across from the YMCA next to the Home Depot, or we do it virtually. We keep forgetting to say that, virtually, all over. We did Zoom before Zoom was cool. So we can do that. You can give them a call at 423-362-5360. Again, that's 423-362-5360. Or check us out on our website at DRsWarren, DRSWARREN.com. This is the Wellness Radio. We'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So, welcome if you're just now tuning in. Man, that was good. Tip of the iceberg symptoms. What are some other tip of the iceberg symptoms that?
Well, those are my top four.
Yeah.
Those four are the ones that I see that everyone kind of has, but they very downplay it.
Yeah.
Because their doctors downplay it.
Yeah.
The gallbladder, let's just go. Okay, so the gallbladder. The gallbladder has receptors for estrogen and progesterone. So if your estrogen and progesterone are off, you're going to have decreased function in the gallbladder. The gallbladder is connected with the liver. The gallbladder is also a part of the digestive tract. So if you don't have enough stomach acid, if you don't have enough enzymes, which means you're not digesting your food, which means you have overgrowth, which means you probably have leaky gut. If your liver is overwhelmed.
Deficiency in zinc or choline, you have a gallbladder issue, which is, again, if you're not eating, good quality meat or animal products, you're probably missing out on choline. And again, that directly affects the function of the gallbladder.
Yeah, so when the no, that's great, because zinc and choline is also associated with being able to rid your body of too much testosterone, of balancing out your testosterone levels. That's a really big essential for that. So, and your immune system. So when your gallbladder goes haywire, I get it's very easy. Your insurance pays good money, easy thing for the doctor to do. But now you're missing the fact that the liver's overwhelmed or the gut's overwhelmed or your hormones are out of whack, right? Now sleep is the HPA axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenals, is going to be associated with your adrenals. Melatonin and cortisol work inversely to each other. So when melatonin is high, cortisol will be low. Your cortisol is high, your melatonin will be low. The way I explain it best is that if you're being chased down by a tiger, you're on high alert. You are going to be aware, you're in fight or flight, you're in sympathetic, and that's what you want to be when you're under stress. The problem is that a lot of you guys are chronically stressed. So if you were to go to sleep at night when a tiger is out there actively chasing you, every sound you hear, you're going to be awake. You're going to be looking around. You're going to sleep so light because you're in this stress response. It's a good thing. It's going to keep you alive. But because a lot of you guys are chronically stressed, you're on high alert, you're waking up, anything wakes you up, you can't go to sleep at night, and it's as if you're being chased down by 20 tigers, but you're not. You're just chronically stressed and your HPA axis is off. Sleep medication hasn't been studied to be used for more than 2 weeks. I have seen people on it for years. That's not good. Putting in melatonin is ignoring the fact that you have all these issues going on down the road. Blood pressure, like you said, the HP access to heart, the kidneys, and all of that. And then acid reflux. It's a bigger issue. But some other symptoms that I think...
I was going to say headaches. Headaches are one that I usually find is an tip of the iceberg symptom because, again, there's so many different factors that can create headaches, but they all are pretty involved, right? Like, let me give you an example. Like, let's say somebody's getting headaches because it's like a cervicogenic headache, or like it's coming from, the neck muscles here. Like, that seems like a simple problem, but then when you look into it and you see like a complete loss of structure in the neck, and you recognize that for every signal the brain has to send to the body has to go through that neck, you're talking about you're having a symptom of something that's affecting your entire physiology, right? Like, so that's why I say it's a tip of the iceberg symptom. Or, somebody that's having headaches because they're consuming, certain types of food. Well, then we have to look and we have to say, well, again, it's not just about cutting out those foods. It's about saying, why is your body reacting that way? And then you start to realize, oh man, there's a gut environment issue. There is there's a terrain issue in the gut itself. Other reasons for headaches, maybe it's a deficiency, right? Maybe it's magnesium deficiency or something like that. And then you start to recognize, well, man, magnesium is used for every cellular process at pretty much every second of every day. So if you're deficient in that, think about all the cellular damage that has happened over time, and even some of the other symptoms that now you're taking medications for, like restless leg syndrome or things like heart arrhythmias that could probably be solved just by magnesium supplementation.
You're going to have to say that again on the radio show because we weren't on and that was so solid. Yeah, the headaches. Everyone has it. It's just it's just common. Common does not mean normal, though.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I am your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren. And so in the second hour, we've been talking a lot about, specifically what Dr. Rebecca is doing right now for her health, kind of her little journey there to give you a good idea. We will dive into mine too, but we got caught on this subject that I think is important that Dr. Rebecca brought up called tip of the iceberg symptoms, right? Tip of the iceberg symptoms. And one that I was talking about on Facebook just a second ago was headaches, and how headaches, even though they may be common, are not normal. There's always an underlying root cause when you're looking at things like headaches. And I find a lot of the times that again, whether it's, issues coming from the neck, or it's issues coming from, the foods that you're consuming. These are only the again, tip of the iceberg, because what I said on Facebook a second ago is if you're having pain that's creating that headache that's coming from the neck, remember, it's your neck, it's your cervical spine that is literally the determining factor of, do you have tension on the spinal cord that is affecting the function of like not only your HPA axis and your HPT axis, but it actually changes the physiology of your entire body, because for every signal the brain has to send down the body has to go through the neck first, except for some that go to the eyes. So that means it's literally changing the physiology of your cellular function just because, and the symptom that shows up is a headache that's coming from tension in the neck, right? So simple problem, maybe Tylenol, maybe, some Bayer, whatever's out, Bayer aspirin, whatever it is that may take away the symptom, but the underlying major fire that's burning on inside the body is continuing to rage. Another one that we mentioned, magnesium deficiency. It's a big deal. We need that for every cellular function in the body on every second of every day. And if we don't have proper magnesium absorption and getting that taken into the cell, it's creating massive problems there. The other one that we were looking at as well is looking at things like, some of the foods that are triggering a headache or migraines, and recognizing that that's not just a food issue as much as it is a gut environment and terrain issue. So these are things that are tip of the iceberg, and headaches is a major one of those. And so, man, I love that. We're gonna have to write an article and do another video on tip of the iceberg symptoms. I think that's really good. Yeah.
Hey, I want to talk about this. Someone just called in. This will be really fun. I hope I hope you're still listening.
Yeah.
Someone just called in and said, you should have a medical doctor on the air because you do not have the qualifications to be speaking about prescriptions.
Oh, I love it. So yeah, let me dive into this for that caller that just called in. Number one, I get to see every single day the brokenness that your medical doctor, or maybe you are one, which would be even better. I hope you are. I get to see the brokenness every single day that you create on a daily basis with your patients and with the public, and I get to see that every single day, how many medications that you're putting people on. And guess what? You're right. I don't prescribe anything. I don't take anybody off of medications, but what I do is I educate people on what is the real root cause of their health issues. Unlike you or unlike your medical doctor that does that, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you're listening to this still and you have, a question about that, I want to let you know that, again, maybe you should change your thinking a little bit and start thinking about really what is the root cause of issues.
This is a really great, I'm glad they called and mentioned that, because let's talk about that for a second. So our radio episode today, this show is talking about what? It's talking about getting down to the root cause of what causes your issues so you don't have to be dependent on something for the rest of your life, right? So, it's very easy to Google Prilosec. It's very easy to look up the studies on PubMed. Anyone can look at the dangers of that. You don't need a degree to know what they're saying about it and how long you should take it. You have access to that information. But isn't that crazy to think that an episode that talks about, hey guys, take your health into your own hand, get down to the cause, be the best that you can be, don't have to be dependent on things, just get down to the cause, could make someone so upset that they feel the need to call it. What does that say about our system right now, about what it looks like to be well? Like, to think that really you need someone to come on here and say, hey, definitely be on acid reflux medication for the rest of your life.
You need qualifications for that?
You need qualifications to talk about the fact that... anyone, your neighbor could say that, and it's still going to be true. Your neighbor could come out and be like, hey, you should get down to the cause of what's going on so that you can be optimal, so you don't have to be dependent on someone. That's just insane. Think about how screwed up that thinking is.
Yeah, and let's talk about some statistics with medication really quick, Let's just throw some of those out there. Like, I don't know, about 106,000 people a year die from properly prescribed medication. Hey, guess what that means? That means those amazing, qualified individuals that are giving the right prescription are killing 106,000 people a year. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. We have 2 million Americans that are hospitalized every single year. Hospitalized because of proper medication prescription. So that means, again, you qualified individuals out there that are doing that, you're put 2 million people are hospitalized every single flipping year. Again, not an opinion. That's a fact in your own medical journal. So let's just talk about that for a second. That's qualification for you.
Yeah, and so listen, I don't want to prescribe medication. Like, there's no way in heck. Everyone knows when they come in. We're not doing that. I actually work, this is the cool thing. I have 3 medical offices that I refer to, that I recommend, that I think are just fantastic.
That handle the medicine.
Yep. 3 nurse practitioners that are knowledgeable, that care, that listen to you, that are willing to work with you. I love them. I don't need to do that.
Or even like Dr. Mary on here. That I wish every medical doctor was like Dr. Mary. If you live in New Orleans, you gotta go check her out, Dr. Mary Mignon, man. So I wish everybody was like that.
Yeah, so I'm not at all concerned with needing to prescribe medication or to get someone on of it, to take someone off of it. But the really cool thing is that when you have a good practitioner on your side and they see, I love it, because what I always hear is this. Our patients are improving, they go to their doctor, the doctor sees it, and how many times have you heard what? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Keep it up.
Keep it up. What are you doing? Keep it up. So let me go ahead and tell you something. Yeah, I don't need to prescribe medication to tell people that you have to do something about your health instead of waiting around and being on different medication. And hey, if you're still listening to this and you want to talk to us one-on-one, go ahead and shoot us an email. We'll talk. because I don't know why someone felt so worked up by that. And let me go ahead and tell you this. This is the other thing too. I don't want you to think that we're also anti all medicine.
No.
Okay, let me go ahead and tell you this. We have a great pediatrician we've taken our kids to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't do it all the time like they say. We have someone that we work with. But let me go ahead and tell you this. In cases of emergency, in emergencies, when you need antibiotic to work, you want it to work.
Actually, I had a patient the other day. Came in, right? Had injured his finger underneath a car. It fell on it, cut his finger. Looking at it, he saw that there was some redness that was starting to kind of spread. And guess what I said? I said, hey, you know what? I know a couple doctors that you should go see, medical doctors who you should go see, and you're probably going to need some antibiotics, even though I know that antibiotics damage the gut lining. I know that it damages the gut. Here's some things that you can do to maybe help mitigate some of that, but you're going to need some antibiotics because we can clearly see that it's spreading. And you know what that medical doctor said when the patient walked in their office? Man, who sent that? I'm so glad that they sent you because that could have been dangerous. So, I don't have to be qualified to prescribe medication, but I am qualified to at least make smart decisions, right? And refer. So we're not anti-medicine. I'm anti-misuse and abuse of medication.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a problem, especially when we're looking at now with antibiotic-resistant bacteria, is that we're being overprescribed things like that. We're being overprescribed the things that can actually help us in times of danger and using it on a daily basis. Like, listen, what's the one thing? One thing when you're having a heart attack, there isn't going to be anything in regards to your nutrition. There's not going to be an adjustment. There's not going to be anything that's going to help you when you're in that state. You take everything. My father had an aneurysm.
Maybe. If I'm having a heart attack, you better adjust me because I know the power that is.
I'll do that with you. Okay, so my father had an aneurysm, went to the ICU, some of the best nurses in the world, and they all knew, listen, we're going to help him get out of here, but he has to heal. He has to functionally heal at home. The foods that he's eating, the way that he's moving. So listen, we're not going to separate the two. This all has to do with each other. And guys, I mean, you can see that this system is difficult right now. You can see that our system is broken. You can see we're paying the most for health insurance. We're having the most procedures than anywhere else in the world. We're getting the most prescription drugs, and we are the unhealthiest. We're at the bottom of the number when it comes to mortality, or when it comes to women surviving childbirth, babies surviving childbirth. We're having more deaths from lifestyle-related diseases than anywhere else in the world. You don't need a freaking degree to understand that there's a problem, and that if you not responsible for your own health, if you're not asking questions, if you don't have the right team on your side, you can end up a statistic like that too. Guys, this is the Wellness Radio. Check us out at doctorsroaring.com. Our phone number is 423-362-5360. If you have any questions, if you'd like to make an appointment, we are there for you guys. We'll see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So yeah, I mean, I think that was really yeah. Here's the thing, man. I love, and Dr. Rebecca knows this, and maybe it's even a fault of mine. I live for moments like that where you get a call that about oh man, you shouldn't be talking about medication because you're not qualified for it or something like that. And again, to me, it just like fires me up, right? Because is that the society that you want to live in, right? Like, is that the society you want to live in, where you continue to look at our medical system as gods, right? As just like these people that are just the smartest individuals that know everything about your body. You are drastically mistaken. It doesn't mean that they're not smart individuals. Actually, there's some of the most brilliant people, in the world that again, they're just stuck in a system that is meant to keep people customers for their entire life. It's meant to keep you, not dead, but not quite, fully alive. It's meant to keep you right there in the middle where you're taking the medications, you're constantly going into your doctor, getting tests run all the time. That is a lifelong customer. That is what that's what they're looking for. And here's the interesting, kind of conundrum, if you will, or something that I don't think is addressed a lot. I see this all the time where a patient may be taking certain medications that are creating symptoms. Those symptoms then lead them into their doctor's office, where they then, discover, some deeper things going on. For example, acid reflux medication. They're taking it to get rid of their acid reflux. Then 10 years later, they're into their doctor because they're having heart issues, and then they're put on 3 different medications, and the doctor says this, man, I'm so glad that you're in here and we can put you on these medications. We are saving your life. Then the patient thinks, oh my God, they're saving my life, rather than knowing that heartburn medication they were taking for years that was also prescribed by the same medical doctor was the thing that created the heart disease in the first place. And then you see how the craziness starts to happen where they say, oh, man, he's saving my life. Thank you, doc, for putting me on my cholesterol medication, my blood pressure medication. Thank you so much for that. You're saving my life. Rather than recognizing that it was the medication that they put you on at the beginning that created the problem here. And so that it's just frustrating to me because it's like a get out of jail free card every single time, unless you understand the true principles of health and healing. It's a get out of jail free card every single time, man. And then you go back and you're praising your doctor because they saved your life, instead of recognizing, well, actually could have been the reason why they had to save my life this time to begin with. It's just to me, it's frustrating, and it happens to too many people.
It's frustrating for us because, man, we really love and care for the people that we see. We really love and care for the families that come under our care. Our goal is to always have an office where people walk in and they feel hope and and so it's really hard for us to hear these stories. It's really hard for us to not feel enraged and to not get angry and to not be upset about what happens to the people that are coming in just really broken or coming in really looking for answers. You don't know how many women I've sat there and I'm like, man, the only reason you're here is because they missed it. They missed the fact they didn't look deeper. They didn't care to listen that you're not doing okay. But we live this every day. So we're very passionate about it because I'm pissed about my thyroid being cut out. Like I wish I could have my thyroid back, but I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing because that happened. So it's I mean, when you see it happen, that fire kind of burns up in you, and it happens to everyone, not just us as doctors. It happens to everyone. So.
Yeah, we're about to go live again here in just a second. All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I'm here with Dr. Rebecca Warren. I'm Dr. Nathan Warren, and we've been going over, all kinds of stuff in this second hour. It's been a lot of fun kind of going over your health stuff, talking about Iceberg, symptoms and what are some of those things that are underlying, and then, getting fired up with a phenomenal caller that they called.
And if you guys are listening, we're actually not usually here during this hour. Our regular hours 10 to 11 every single Saturday. So if you're listening to this, you can listen to us every single Saturday from 10 to 11. Whether you love us or hate us, tune in from 10 to 11 on Saturdays.
Yeah, and I promised you that I would go over, maybe let me do this since we're kind of running out of time. I'm going to go over let's say maybe the 3 to 5 supplements that I, don't live without on a daily basis. I was asked that question the other day. They're like, man, if you were on a deserted island, you could only take like 3 supplements. What would it be? What is it that you take? What do you find is the most important? So that you guys can kind of see, from my perspective, what it is. Okay, so I would say my number one thing that I love, so much that I actually get a little upset when I run out of, that I can tell a major difference in my body when I run out of, is something called molecular hydrogen. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sounds super weird, and it sounds like, super kind of sciencey, weird, like chemical project type of thing. But here's the thing. There's actually the Institute of Molecular Hydrogen that has over 13 peer-reviewed research articles on the benefits of this. And so literally there are a couple tablets that I drop into my water at the beginning of the day. Why do I do it? Because it reduces oxidative stress It helps to reverse some of the aging on your cells, and it helps to really bring down lots of inflammation in the body. It also helps to increase the function of the mitochondria that you have, and also helps to increase the amount of mitochondria in a cell. I love molecular hydrogen. It is absolutely amazing. It's one that I don't ever really want to live without if I have the option. Could I? Yeah, I could absolutely live without, but I choose to take that because I think it's super powerful. The second one is some type of healthy fat. So whether I'm supplementing with something like, you could do like Andrea's seed oils that are out there that are really cold pressed raw, really, really good, pure form omega, some type of good, like really cold pressed plant-based, fat, or good healthy fat like MCT oil, those type of things. I really like to get some type of good healthy fat, supplement in there, not fish oil. I do not take fish oil. The third one that I would say kind of overall that I think is phenomenal, that really I think makes a major difference in my body, is something called G-Cell, and I take it every single day of my, because I choose to, because it upregulates my glutathione. The better I make glutathione, which is a master antioxidant, again, the better I'm able to fight viruses, bacteria, and even things like cancer. It really equips my body really, really well. And so those are my top three. All right.
And minerals.
Oh, minerals.
Mineral complex,
sure.
guys.
Yeah, that's a good one as well.
All right, this is the Wellness Radio. You can give us a call if you'd like us help. 423-362-5360. Our clinic is located in the Hamilton Place area next to the Home Depot, across from the YMCA. We also do virtual appointments all over the U.S., and you can check us out on our website at doctorswarren.com. Have a great Saturday, and howdy toddy.
There you go.
Howdy toddy. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, make sure to comment on the video. We'll make sure to have a team member, or we'll just jump on, answer those questions, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Saturday.
See you guys.